It's the dream stream. Can they hear me?
Possibly.
Oh no!
Yes, they can.
What are we gonna do about that?
Absolutely nothing.
Are you okay there, Cleek?
Puppy is heavy. Puppy got big really fast.
Have you tried making Puppy smaller?
Yes, he keeps getting bigger.
Oh.
And he jumps on me.
Have you told it no?
I've told it no, I've told it yes, I've told it not now, ask me later.
Oh, we got a magic 8-ball for you?
It looks at me like a magic 8-ball.
I bet it gives you the same amount of regard, too.
Just about.
There you go. You must speak about your new name. Or not. Hey Cleek, would you like to buy an egg?
You sick. You make me sick.
Why am I making you sick? Birds eat eggs.
Don't make me hurt you.
So you can't hurt me.
I'm gonna hurt you.
You're bluffing. What a bluff.
Just hang on.
No.
Hang on.
I shall not hang on. What is this music?
It's a jazzy version of Tetris.
You just poke you with a staff? No.
No staff.
Stop poking me with a staff.
Rembrandt is not in game yet.
Coming.
Good boy.
Stop hurting me with the staff. That hurts. That's not allowed. No. Stop it.
It wasn't with the staff.
Doesn't make it any better.
Hear the mental damage.
Oh, I'm instantly dead. Oh, okay.
No, Shreska
What have you
is
done?
instantly dead.
What have you done?
Oh, now I'm instantly dead.
Whoop.
Oh, you can't stop me. Undead fortitude.
No.
Undead fortitude. Undead fortitude.
You know, it's really funny that no one watching can see what's going on right now because Fantasy Grounds isn't open and they can't see the whole thing.
It's probably for the best. We're not very professional at the beginning, are we?
Not at all.
No, but
Cleek
this is
is
hilarious.
not wounded.
But y'all do remember that Zen, they can hear us right now.
I shall kill the ghoul. The astral ghoul is now dead.
shit.
The heck? What are you doing?
Alright, I'll heal you back.
Got my own healing, thank you very much.
I'm gonna touch you.
No, you can't touch me. I deny it. You have to have a willing companion, don't you? Doesn't it have to be willing?
Nope.
Oh. I deny your
Oh, shh. Best song ever.
What song is this?
You watch your mouth, heretic.
I've never heard this before.
I smell heresy.
Think you can think to it?
No.
Why
Yep.
not?
Twitch sings. Let's go. Do it.
I don't know the words
Yeah, it's
right
Twitch
now.
It's Twitch sings now. You gotta sing.
Rah rah, Rasputin. The Russian queen.
I can't even now.
It's the only song I know how to sing to. If you want to play that song, Feloni, I'll sing to it. Just singing rah rah Rasputin before stream it starts. The map
You
has
turned me into a newt.
You're a newt.
You're a newt.
I am a newt, thank you very much for noticing. Am I a newt? Is it a newt?
Are you a newt?
I think I am.
Should call you Shruska Newton.
Not Jimmy Neutron here.
Ton, not Tron.
Oh, Jimmy.
What's the difference?
I don't know.
Sparkle Daddy.
What's up?
Hello.
Hi.
Lovely new name you got there.
Joke's on you. You responded to it.
Yeah, I respond to it
You guys should really read the message I posted with the stream.
Daigo or the Sparkle Dog? Why did I say Daigo? Easier rule was feared and it to rule with love.
now. That's funny.
I don't see it.
I don't know the song either.
Can I smack you?
No.
Okay, just
To
asking.
be perfectly honest, I don't know half the songs that Zim ever plays. Is it Christmas already?
A is for air, it stabbed right through. B is for Bowser, whose bridge work was crummy.
This one I actually don't know.
Was that his double? T is for Dawson, who had yoga trouble. E is for Echo, and he was delicious. F is for Frogger, who got too ambitious. G is for Ganon, who gained too much weight. H is for Heavy, whose sandwich was bait. Game over, game over.
Everyone's game ends eventually. Game over, game over. Let's count the ways from A to Z. I is
For Iceman, whose best friend was hot. T is for Jim, whom the early bird caught. K is for Kirby, pop like a balloon. N is for Link, who is crushed by the moon. O is
Sounds
for
like a safer
Mario.
word for gory demise.
Navi, why wouldn't they listen? O is for old man who needed that sword. P is for Pac-Man whom Blinky adored. Game over, game over. Everyone's game ends eventually.
Why does this remind me of Misfortunate Event?
Game over. Let's count the ways from A to Z. And since nobody cares, S is for Sonic who needed some air. T is
Rembrandt.
for Tails who also was there. U is for Ultra
Yes.
stunning by Green.
Hello.
V is for Vodo whose shave was too clean. W is for
Why do
Wario
you keep
with
muting
too
yourself?
many
You're running away from
wares.
us.
X is for
Just to mitigate
assaulted
background
by
noise.
bears. A is for Yoshi
There
who
is
had a bad friend. Z is
I've never
for
used push to
Zelda
talk.
who wished
If I
for the
don't do
end.
this, I will never remember to push the button to push to talk.
I wouldn't have voice activation on.
I mean, that'll pick up background noise too.
Over, game over. Next time won't you sing with me? That was
Wonderful
the game over
singing, Tim.
Tinies.
Yeah, that was literally a gory demise video game edition.
Probably. He does a lot of parody kind of stuff.
Right.
That was
Unfortunately,
wonderful.
most of
Thank
his
you.
stuff is not safe for work at all.
Ooh, I want to go check this out then.
Then may I recommend Mega Man 3 Game Over with the lyrics. Alright, hello everyone and welcome to the stream. I am Razim. Yes, hold your applause, please. Wait until I am finished.
Okay.
And this is Iron Fang Dungeons and Dragons. This evening, our illustrious and most sparkly dog DM, Daga, will be leading us on a tale of woe, misfortune, and perhaps a bit of prostitution. I will turn
Perhaps
it
a
over
lot.
now to Daga.
Alright, so the recap tonight was supposed to be from Kato, but they unfortunately cannot make it tonight, so I'm going to be reading what they sent to me for the recap that they were going to do. So,
I couldn't resist that one, sorry.
fair. So, we were in the Null Camp. There were some nasty spectral basilisk thingy and some ghouls and some gnolls who didn't want to be my friend. We beat them all up, and I made friends with this other gnoll, Ibram. He gave us the herb thingies that we needed to make these potion things that are supposedly helpful. He came with us like a bro, and I learned how to make a potion. Kalani didn't. That's because I'm cooler than Kalani. Now we're heading to Starshore, because that's where Sparkle Daddy told us to go.
Sparkle, sparkle.
So, yeah.
I don't.
That wonderful recap is verbatim from the mouth of Kato. So yeah, where we left off, you all had, you can see the Starshore map, correct?
Yeah, I believe so.
And the loot lake.
Yep.
Give me one moment. No, I cannot see it.
Yes, you can. Fantasy Grounds is telling me you are.
No, look at the
And
stream.
I can see in
You
stream
can
that you
see.
closed it out. You closed it.
No, I didn't.
Well, let's reopen it.
I didn't close it.
Or I was about to say, or he hit it.
Sparkle Daddy, would you remove the unconscious effect from me, please?
Oh, yes, of course.
Sparkle Daddy, will you give me $20?
No.
But I want to go to the mall.
Alright, later.
What's them all?
But. So, where we left off, you all had just come up to the very edge of the village of Starshore, located on one of the southeastern edges of the Lake of Luck. Upon arriving to Starshore, you notice that it's a lot different than any of the other, the one village that you've passed through has been since a couple days ago when you first woke up from those fantastic nightmares. This village is awake, and it's bustling. Everybody is hustling with their job. They clearly have something to do, and they are doing it. And even the guards, there's one guard standing at each of the towers that you see there, and they look relatively happy and content. They don't seem worried about anything. They're just kind of standing there, doing their job.
What a sight for sore eyes, huh?
This one agrees with that statement.
I'm gonna go check out the village.
So as you pass through, the guards they give you a look up and down, but it seems like they don't see you as a threat because they let you pass right through. Both of them even give you a smile and a wave as you pass through into the town. And as you get into the village, in the center there's a rather large statue of what appears to be just a normally clad traveler upon a horse with a bunch of saddlebags. And there's a plaque at the base of the statue saying, "The traveler, we welcome all."
Thank you. I would like to explore this entire village. Could you show me around?
It's a statue.
I was about to say, are you wanting to
I am
ask
talking
a
to the
this?
statue. I am talking to the statue.
I meant to do that.
This one is used.
The statue continues to be a statue.
Okay. Well, thank you for not indulging me.
Can we steal the statue?
Can you carry over 2,000 pounds?
I'm sure Shrek could.
Who's this
Is my
crack?
group near me, or did I just waltz way ahead of them?
Wait, what was that?
My group with me, or did I just waltz way ahead of them?
I'm with you.
Are you?
Kalani's
now?
headed straight for the tavern.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
The
What's
tavern.
that supposed to mean?
The tavern is, however, closed. Everything else is kind of bustling and stuff, but it seems like the shops, the couple of shops, like the tavern and the blacksmith, there's a very small blacksmith. And
What do you mean the tavern is closed?
It's closed.
Meaning
Taverns
it's
are
not an
never
all-day
closed.
tavern.
This one is closed.
Taverns are never closed. What is this Bolshevik?
As Kalani shouts and screams with his tantrum, the passerbys of the village give him a quick glance, but very quickly go back to their work. There's a bunch of fishermen in their boats. There are fishermen pulling nets from the lake. There are fishermen casting nets into the lake, and yeah, every net that you see them take out is teeming with fish. This village is clearly doing very well, and everybody is very busy.
A little too well.
No, not too well.
This
I think I'm
one's
kind of hungry.
Too bad, the tavern's closed.
Oh, I'm sure we
But-
can get food other places.
Fishing?
Azurite will proceed to munch
I'm sorry,
on some
I'm
of her
excited. There's
mystery meat here.
people everywhere.
Oh, that's right. You have mystery meat.
Yep.
Mystery meat.
Hey, Daga.
Aye.
Is it possible to go talk to these fishermen?
I mean, yeah, you can try. And I see. One moment, Rembrandt. I'm sorry. Kalani did just roll investigation. Kalani, with that investigation roll, you can actually spot a very slight shimmering from behind. One second. Let me get the draw tool out here. You can see a slight shimmering from just behind the building.
All shimmering.
The draw tool isn't working.
Oh, you made a line.
Yeah, if you see the line, you can see a slight shimmering from behind that building there.
Kalani is a little preoccupied looking for dried brush around the inn.
Azurite will stick near the knoll.
Yeah, Ibram is still with you all. He's pretty quiet. He's very clearly grumpy. Every once in a while, you'll hear a low grumbling growl come from him, but he's very grumpy and has fallen into complete silence because he still barely knows what's going on.
Kalani is currently dead, according to his track.
Well, he's gone too long without alcohol, so...
Doesn't he have his own stash?
Yeah, I wonder who stole all that.
Their name begins with a D and ends with Aga, and they deleted it with the party inventory.
Oh yeah, I killed Shrekka.
Not Shrek, it's Shrek.
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 No, it is Shrek.
It's Shrek.
I don't know why, that sounds slightly triggered me. Congratulations. Almost
Is there any
nothing.
shops nearby?
Also, yes, Big Mac, that is very much me. I'll put it on the stream. Oh, hey!
What?
Before I put it on the stream, I gotta share this with everybody.
Oh no.
Is it food?
No. It is not eggs.
I'm sorry, Daga.
Oh my god, you did it.
No.
No, Kato did it.
Kato did that last session.
It was still in there, so I'm like, I'm gonna share that.
Great.
Now for what I was
That's
actually
amazing.
going to share. And that is this, and this is Kalani. Holy crap, that is tiny.
Very.
You know, it's the first thing that came to mind. It's like, to like Kalani, it's like, taverns closed.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this time.
I'm surprised Kalani didn't bash down the door.
No, instead he's
he
gonna
was
burn it down.
Well, that's gonna destroy the booze inside.
Don't burn it down.
Wait, so actually, from everybody's passive perceptions, all of you can also see the slight shimmering from behind that building that is marked.
Fine, Kalani will
Despite
go
me
in
being
and
a bird,
investigate.
to me, the shimmery shiny does not interest me.
This one tries to tackle
There's
the shimmery
people
shiny.
everywhere. How are we not We
This one
just
will
went from
approach.
a bustling camp of nothing and one person and his dead child to a whole village full of people that are awake. What the hell's going on?
There's more than one child there.
I'm talking about the village the camp we came.
Yeah, there's a lot of people there.
Awake?
Oh, the tranquility.
They
Awake.
were awake at one time.
When we were there.
Yeah, they woke up
Yeah.
after y'all defeated that first basilisk.
Okay, but now we're here and there's tons of people awake before we beat it.
Yeah, there are races of all kinds actually.
This one assumes it's
bustling
daytime.
about. What was that?
This one assumes it's daytime then.
Yeah, at this point it is. Yeah, it's daytime. But the tavern is still closed.
Is there any kind of shop nearby?
Not one that's open.
Oh. Where are all these people rushing to?
What was that?
Where are all these
What?
people rushing to and from?
Wait, the shop's
just-
closed?
Yeah, the shops are closed, but everybody that you see is clearly going about some sort of business that they find very important.
Perception check. Who appears to be doing what?
Yeah, there's no shops and taverns closed. What is everyone being in such a hurry for?
Well,
What does everyone seem to be doing? Like, is someone like carrying like logs of wood?
I mean, most of it is most of the bustling that's going on are the fishers casting nets, pulling them in, taking the boats to and from the dock within the lake, and moving the piles and carts and barrels of fish to and from the various buildings that you see. This village is very clear. This village very clearly thrives on the fishing business, but everybody's busy.
What's that big building?
That's a big building.
Can we enter the big building?
I thought the big one was.
I mean, you can ask me questions all you want. It
the
depends on what you
tavern.
actually tell me you do.
Oh, the
Oh,
tavern clearly has a
Is that the
symbol of
tavern?
the beer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know it has the tavern symbol via the map maker that I used, but it's not a tavern. What you see behind those two smaller buildings and behind the small line of trees is a rather large mansion.
Should I go or approach the mountain, just mansion to see what it is?
I was just about to say, I think this place seems hustling, bustling, but something seems off. Let's go check out the.
going to investigate the shimmering.
I like the
Okay.
shimmer. We should pet the shimmer.
So, Kalani, as you approach the shimmering light standing behind one of those smaller buildings before the line of trees, what comes into view is the exact same astral figure. Is the exact same astral figure that you saw on the journey here, right on the edge of the mountains.
So the tiny child.
Curious light.
No. It was the astral form of a female lizard folk that you saw on the edge of the mountains while you guys were on the horses.
I think only one of us saw that.
Only Rembrandt saw that.
Oh yeah, only Rembrandt saw that actually.
Yeah.
So Kalani, you see in the astral form of a female lizard folk, and she smiles at you, waves you on, and turns to walk off towards the mansion, but dissipates after a couple of steps.
Dagger, can you look at the front of your script? Does it say Resident Evil anywhere, or?
Resident Evil? No.
We're going to a mansion. There's a lady going towards the mansion now.
No. So,
Kalani
Kalani,
will relay what he saw to the others and proceed to the mansion.
Azurite will tell them all what's going on.
Seeing as how this is kind of shimmering light that Rembrandt saw before, he'll tag along.
Sweet.
Azurite will follow with, hopefully with the Nolan.
Yeah, Ibram's in tow as well, but again, he's very silent and very grumpy.
And thus the
Grumpy.
party fell for the DM's trap and was never heard from again.
I mean,
It's
Roll
called
your
water, isn't it?
characters.
he's
So,
not getting any answers.
so as soon as you approach the mansion, the door opens, and out steps the mortal form of that same female lizard folk that Kalani and Rembrandt saw.
I immediately turn tail and walk away.
I wish to hug it.
Alright.
I mean,
It's
it would make
huggable.
sense for Treska.
I mean, wait, who said that they were gonna try to hug the lizard folk?
Treska.
Treska.
Okay.
The other lizard folk.
So, when Treshka approaches with the hug, the other lizard folk very happily opens her arms and embraces Shreshka, and she says, "Ah, this one is so happy that you are here. I was hoping you were coming here when I saw you in the mountains."
This one agrees.
What was that? You broke up.
This one agrees.
Yeah, it's like stupid in stereo.
Oh, am I talking too loud for it?
No, he's referencing the scene. Both of you practically saying exactly the same.
So,
Wait, is this thing actually physical? Am I actually hugging it, or?
no, yeah, she's physical. She's
Oh.
not in astral form.
Okay. Amazing hugs.
Yeah, and she continues to hug Shreshka for a moment and then releases and waves to everybody else and says, "This one is so glad you're here. This one is Garrigus. I'm one of the sleeping scholars. Please come inside."
This one will happily follow.
Well, we're all tagging along.
But why is the tavern closed?
We need you sober.
She turns to
What?
Kalani.
What is
What?
sober?
Don't
Is
worry
she-
about it.
She turns to Kalani at the question and says, all of our businesses are closed right now, given what's happening. But come. There will be time for discussion with that as soon as we get comfortable. Come."
What's happening?
And
Why does it mean I get no booze?
Lonnie, just follow with.
Fine. Who go with?
so she leads you through a couple of hallways and up a flight of stairs through the mansion, and you soon come to a kind of like a medium-sized room, and it has multiple bookshelves, a couple of desks, and it's absolutely filled with small floor tables and floor pillows, and there's even a hookah or two sitting on these tables. And in the room is a female red fox who is angrily poring over some notes that are open in her lap. And in another corner of the room is a male raccoon who's also reading a book and is completely silent and has a tobacco pipe hanging from his lips.
Azurite is curious about these notes and would make her way over to ask what they're looking over.
To the fox.
Yes.
Yeah, so as you approach, the female fox very quickly gathers up the couple pieces of parchment, stuffs them in the book, and moves to another corner of the room. Garrigus, seeing this, Garrigus being the female lizard folk, I'm gonna type out the name real quick in the FG chat so you guys can just know.
Say Daga.
Yep.
On the way like through these rooms, could Rembrandt like look left and right, check out if there's any kind of details that seem kind of odd?
I mean, no. It just seems like some rooms. If there is a door open, it just looks really comfortable. It seems like all of these rooms are full of like pillows and tapestries and blankets and chairs and cushions and such. Nothing really out of the ordinary, unless you think comfort is abnormal.
It could be.
Just
So,
realized you never changed the Astral Null's name to his name.
oh, oops. Oh no, that's just because he's unidentified right now. I forgot to identify him for you guys.
Don't like you to hear that.
But so the female fox very quickly gathers her notes up and goes to another corner of the room, and seeing this, Garrigus walks up and says, Don't mind Darcy. She's preoccupied right now."
If you don't mind me asking, of what in particular?
What was that?
If you don't mind me asking, in what in particular?
As in what she's preoccupied by?
Yes.
Well, notes about Nessarian, the dream god, who happens to be causing all of what's been going on.
That is some useful information on what's been going on.
Garrigus chuckles and says, "Yeah, I suppose you do want to know what's going on, but if you don't know what's going on, may I ask how you're awake?"
Is that a red flag?
Rembrandt's gonna nudge Azurite and try to whisper so most of the group can hear us.
I mean, we both know thieves can't.
No, it's something he wants everybody to hear anyway. So that come on, I can get this right. Brafina,
yeah, very
okay,
nice.
cool, okay. Brafina, trying to keep this hush from them and for the others not to hear, like the other three, and say that Brafina said to be cautious with these ones because they, and correct me if I'm wrong, Daga, they didn't want to have their involvement known too much, that they wanted to keep everything hush hush. I believe you see that she said that they're like not, I don't know what I'm going for here, like they're not too...
She hinted that they are not awake.
Be careful with the information we give out.
Brafina had said that the sleepers aren't well known for what they do. The sleepers are very secretive about their work. So out of character, she was basically just warning you guys not to make a big deal about them if you found them. Because they like to keep their work with the dream realm and with dream magic secret.
Okay. So Rembrandt would relay that. And these are probably the ones we're looking for.
But why is the rum gone? Why is the rum gone?
Damn it, Tim.
Oh my goodness.
What?
So, Rembrandt, roll stealth real quick.
Sure.
Because you were trying to make it so that the other three wouldn't
Hush.
hear you.
Hey.
Hey, alright.
So anyone want to be enchanted by my stealth screaming again?
Oh my god, please no.
Dagger wasn't here for that, was he?
I don't think I was, no.
No, he was not.
I ran into a dark room full of zombies, screaming as loud as I can, saying I'm gonna go stealth, and I nat 20'd, so I'm just screaming and running in circles while
They're zombies. Their
That's
reaction
incredible.
time couldn't keep up, so they didn't notice.
That is incredible. But yeah, so Rembrandt, you're able to relay this information without the other three hearing you. But right after you're done speaking, Garrigus does step a bit closer to you guys, and she says, Do you have any idea what's going on? Do you know why you're awake? Do you know why you're here?
No.
This one does not know.
No, sadly. We're not even sure how we're still awake ourselves.
We were brought by a ship.
Do you have any idea why we might be
Okay,
awake?
so out of character, you're in Starshore, the village, because Berfina told you to go here to get help with learning how to make the energy potion and
Yes, but
for
she,
help with your spirit.
Azurite is lying to say they aren't sure how they're still awake.
Okay, cool. So with that, Garrigus kind of like cocks her head to the side, and she looks over the group of you all for a moment, and she says, "You're not sleepers. This one is confused."
Why is the rum gone?
The only reason why this village is awake is because of the three of us protecting it. I'm not sure why the lot of you are awake. And
This one does
she...
not need sleep.
Shh.
Why
She
is the
seems
rum
to like...
gone?
Oh my
Oh
fucking
my
god.
god! She...
Already working on it.
Garrigus takes a moment and she seems to catch herself, and she shakes her head real quick and she says, Oh, what are your names? Please, pray tell this one your names.
This one is Shreshka.
Ah, wonderful to meet you, Sureshka. You give wonderful hugs.
I am
My name-
Always
T. Click. I don't know.
Someone's dying.
My name is Azurite Swiftpaw.
Hey, who's making
Alright,
that
who's
noise?
dying?
Which noise in particular?
All of them.
So, did all of you introduce yourselves?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think Kalani has given
Kalani
their.
will pull out his, well, he probably was already looking at it, his empty wineskin, sigh, and just say, I'm Captain Kalani Darrow of Fakiha.
So
I
he's
use my
holding the
hands
wineskin
to
and
like
looking sad.
spread his cheeks to like the corner of his mouth to force his.
You have anything
Spread
to
his cheeks, huh?
drink that's, you know, that?
Water?
Water is
Garrigus-
poisonous to me.
Garrigus looks from the wineskin to Kalani, to the wineskin, and back to him, and sighs and says, "Yes, I understand. We will get to that in a moment, but I feel like we have some business to take care of still, as you lot are awake, and that's strange, considering what's been happening." And she pauses for a second and looks to the raccoon and fox that are also in the room, and sweeps her arm around and gestures to them and says, compatriots, these are my friends. This is Abe And this is Darcy, and she points to the male raccoon who is Abe, and then to the female fox, the female red fox, who is
Sorry. I broke something.
I didn't say anything. You did what I was drinking.
So, Garrus, she steps over to Darcy and snatches one of the notebooks that Darcy was looking at, and as she does this, Darcy is very clearly upset. She grumbles and tries to snatch it back, but very quickly quiets down and goes back to poring over her other notes. And Garrus comes over and sits near you all. And as she sits down and goes to open her mouth, that's when the good old Noel Ibram speaks up. And as he does so, he is very clearly angry. He's annoyed and he's upset. And
Is he not speaking common? I'm curious about this.
Oh no, he's speaking common.
Okay.
Ew, common's weird.
Yeah, agreed. We should all speak Draconic for a bit.
You first.
Sigh.
So Ibram speaks up. He steps forward and he's annoyed and he's grumbling and he's growling and he says, My entire tribe, they were sleeping and then they weren't sleeping after they killed a lizard, and I was sleeping, but I wasn't because I saw everything, and what? And Ibram quiets down, just holding his hands out, his face contorted with very clear confusion, and Garrus shushes him and says, we'll get to that in a second. Just hush. And she goes back to reading through the very small notebook with very fresh quill marks. You can see it's as if they were just recently taking notes in this book. And she looks over the pages for a second, and then she looks up to the group of you and she says, what do you know about what's happening? Tell me what you know.
Rembrandt's gonna relay the series of events that happened so far. That we've ventured off into that camp tribe, Tranquility. Mention the astral beasts, the gathering the essence, and then tell in detail of our travels to Brafina, and then mention how we found this knoll, and also go into detail about why he's concerned and why he's here currently.
So you say go into detail. What kind of detail do you go into?
The full details, the one that everybody else is omitting.
Why is the rain
Alright, so
Thank you, Zim.
God damn it.
So Garrus listens, and as Rembrandt recounts the story of your group, she looks up to you, to each of the group for a moment, and then back down to her notes, and then back up to you again. And once you're done explaining, she
I
looks
think
over her notes for another.
I think Rembrandt's going to interrupt her again and mention that he's seen a vision of Nasarian and this other creature that spoke to him in the dream, and mention that before she speaks up again.
She pauses, eyes wide, and she says, "You've seen Nasarian?"
Not his physical form, but his astral form, perhaps.
Is that his name?
Nasarian, yeah. Let me type it out in the FG chat real quick.
And then also mention that other small creature that seemed to be guiding him, for lack of a better word.
Okay. And you mentioned that it
Also spoke in the dreams.
you recognized the voice from your dream.
Yes.
All right.
I'll even show her the boxes that we have too, the ornate boxes.
Oh, right. So you pull out your box.
Yes.
Of course, Rembrandt pulls out his box.
I mean, it's my box, so
Cat things.
Oh no, I was going a completely different direction.
Oh.
But okay. But so yeah, Garrigus was about to speak, but you, as you interrupt her and as you say your piece, her eyes go wide, and she says, and she looks at the box for a very long moment. And she says, "A voice was helping Nissarian, and you saw Nissarian. They don't have a physical form, so they must have found some way to show themselves to you." And it's as if she's thinking out loud of this at this point. She keeps saying bits and phrases of unintelligible words and then drifting off into silence again as she looks through her notes and thinks for a moment.
Okay, Daga, real quick.
Yeah.
Could you pick one position and stick with it?
What?
Yeah, occasionally it sounds like you speak directly into the mic, and so you get loud, and I adjust your volume down, and then you go speaking away from the mic, and you get quieter, and so I have to turn you back up.
Yeah, it's because as I'm talking, I'm looking down at my notes. I'll go to start talking, and then in the middle of talking, I'll look down at my notes, and my mouth will be just like an inch further from my mic.
It's
Remember
enough to
when
make a
mentioned-
difference.
Yeah, well, I didn't notice that because this is a new mic again, so I apologize.
Rembrandt would mention Nissarian was brought forth when we've slain these astral basilisk, claiming that they were his pumpkin. So that seems to be some sort of a trigger for him.
Pumpkin?
Yes, pumpkin.
Evil pumpkins?
He's endeared with them.
Garrigus once again pauses at this and looks up to you and says, "Pumpkin? Oh dear. Nissarian is creating more pets, it seems." And she goes back to her notes and flips another page, and then she finally looks up back to the group again and she says, "Okay, I think I have some holes that I believe I can fill in here, as this is what my entire life has been trained for." So she flips a couple pages and then takes a deep breath. Then she begins to read over her notes, and she says, "This is what we know so far." And when she says "we," she gestures to herself, and then to Abe, the raccoon in the room, and then to Darcy, the female red fox in the room. And she says, "Nissarian is the god of the sleep realm. It's the realm that everybody's soul goes to when they sleep. It seems Nissarian has decided to throw some sort of tantrum and has put the entire world to sleep. Because so many mortals are sleeping, the line between this waking realm and the sleep realm has been thinned to the point where creatures that should only exist in dreams have been bleeding through into this realm."
So we have a dream and astral realm forming.
What was that? Say that again.
So we have an astral and a dream world merging.
The physical plane and the dream
plane are essentially merging.
That doesn't sound pleasant.
If we
Much
were
as I
to,
would like it to be.
if we were to make more people get away from the dream realms, just like waking them up, could this just probably just upset what's going on and return everything to normal?
Garrigus looks up to you, Rembrandt, and she nods and she like wags her finger at you as if she believes you're onto something, and she says, "These basilisks, these pumpkins that you say Nissarian called them, they seem to be some sort of key to waking up those under the effect of some sort, but it doesn't reach out super far. It's only the immediate area that these pumpkins are in, and the other creatures that you've come into contact with, these astral things, those are simply beasts and creatures created by Nissarian within the dream within the dream realm, that have bled through into this one because of the thinning of the veil between the two. They're not supposed to be here.
Is it possible that these could be just manifestations of the residents' nightmares?
It's possible. That's part of Nissarian's job as the god of the dream realm. They manage the dreams and the nightmares. They
Dream
help
realm,
create-
meme realm. Kick his butt.
And oof, lost train of thought for a second. I apologize.
It's
There's
the
a tray?
dream realm.
I got you. Rembrandt's going to then pull out that jar of E-core that he has, and then retell that these are what remain of needing to
Okay.
to defend ourselves. Yes, sir.
One thing to note. Bottle of Ichor.
Icor.
Whatever.
I pronounce it Ecor. I've always pronounced it Ecor, and I know plenty of people who pronounce it Ecor.
Icor.
I know it to be Iker, but I'm gonna
Every
let
time
people
you
say what
say
they want.
Ichor,
But I
I
understand.
keep thinking Igor.
All right, well that's a personal problem.
Don't say Igor. All I can think of is Marty Feldman.
Acor.
So I'm gonna now pronounce it horribly wrong, just to trigger you further. Rembrandt's gonna pick out the jar of E-core and place it on.
Did he get put in timeout?
You have no power over me. I can come back.
I
not
wish
way back.
so much that Discord had a sticky client option.
You've no power here.
Can't be moving all of the roles.
No, it's still
Anyway.
not. It's still not the same as sticky client, where they are literally stuck there. And then I could make a role that is called Stuck on Band-Aid. And anyways.
Place it on a table near them and tell the tale that this is the remains of us defending ourselves from these gnolls. And according to our friend here, these particular gnomes were not the best of people. And I'm
Did
wondering
you say
if
gnomes?
gnolls.
Okay, I heard gnomes.
No.
And you've
I
just
hope I
been
didn't.
gnomed.
I'm not an elf.
No.
But you were saying Rembrandt, I'm sorry.
He'll mention that this is the remains of these gnolls that were not the best of I guess morality, I guess. An account towards of this gnoll here.
At your gesture, Rembrandt, Ibram kind of coils back and he eyes the Ecor for a moment before dropping his head. And then Garrigus very quickly speaks up, seeing this interaction, and she picks up the vial or bottle. What did you put it in?
A glass jar.
She picks up the glass jar of Ihor and kind of hefts it in her hand for a second and looks at it. And she says, You know, we did find out that it seemed those mortals who are strong of soul and will are forced into some sort of astral form.
And
But-
Rembrandt would look to Evram as she said that.
And
Make sure that
as
you
she
heard
did,
that. You
yeah,
heard
and
that.
as she did say that, Ibram does, his ears perk up and he looks up again and eyes. He locks eyes with Garrigus, or tries to, but she doesn't really catch his gaze at all.
I-core.
She
Apparently, we're all wrong.
I always called it I-core.
I-core.
I was closest.
I-core.
No, I was the one who said I-core.
I will never call it Icor.
Yeah, never calling it Icor, it's Icor.
No.
Ecor.
Haha, you said it.
See, you know, my friend caught that too. She's sitting next to me and she caught that. She was like, you know. But yeah, as Ibram looks at Garrigus with almost with hope, with some hope mixed with a little bit of confusion, and she continues and says, as she continues to examine this jar of ichor, she says, it seems that on the opposite spectrum of those, on the opposite end of those who are strong of will and soul, being able to be essentially forced into an astral form, it seems that those who are not so
I-core.
kind,
I-core.
Pure.
Oh my god!
it
Do we
seems
have that
that
sound?
those who are not as kind, and as she says kind, she shrugs, seemingly unable to find a better word for it. It seems that those individuals are also forced into this astral form, but this substance here, and she looks to the jar and she examines it even closer. She's very confused by it and super perplexed. And she says, it seems this is something different entirely. The energy coming from this is something much darker, something
Why
corrupt.
is the rum gone?
And she sets the jar back down on the table and pushes it back over to Rembrandt.
He'll pocket it.
You just put the ichor in your pocket.
Right in
It's
the
in a
pocket.
jar of dirt. I mean,
It's in a jar.
I-core.
I almost called it a jar of dirt.
I will
You know,
play that.
screw the
every
word, I'm just gonna
time
call it
you guys
bottle o' goop.
Do it wrong.
Bottle of goop. Perfect.
Bottle of goop.
Are you Brian Reganing right now?
Put goop in your pocket. Is it goopy?
In the video game inventory. You just put it behind you and it disappears.
So, as all this is as this is happening, as Garrigus pushes the jar back to Rembrandt, Ibram speaks up again, and this time he's much more frustrated. And he says, "I want to know what's going on. I want to know why this happened. I don't understand what you're saying. I need to know what's happening. I need to know why I woke up the way that I did before anybody else in my tribe." And very quickly, Garrigus quiets him down. She shushes him, and he, for some reason, responds to the shushing. And she gestures to the fox Darcy and says, "She will take you. You very clearly have some sort of potential. She will take you. She will help you figure out what is going on. And Darcy, with a rather angry huff, closes her notes, tosses them to the side, stands, grabs Ibram by the scruff, and drags him out of the room.
Can Rembrandt intervene for a moment?
Yes.
Rembrandt wants to grab Ibram's forearm and tell him, I mentioned to you before in your camp that you were strong of spirit. If you want any chance to fix any of this, cooperate, and you can also help us along with us.
Roll persuasion. Ooh. All right.
Very persuasive.
Ibram's anger and frustration hadn't been entirely calmed by Garrigus, and it especially spiked again once Darcy decided to scruff him. But as soon as Rembrandt grabs his forearm and says these things to him, Ibram's expression shifts and melts away from the anger, and he looks at Rembrandt, doesn't say anything, but Rembrandt, you can see that Ibram understands and believes you. And after you say this, Darcy grumbles and gives Ibram a quick tug and pulls him out of the room. Garrigus, now, with her own notes still open, she looks to the group of you and she takes a moment to take in each of you, and she looks back down to her notes, back up to you, and she closes them, and she says, I believe I may have a way to help you all do something if you're willing to do it.
This one requests more information.
Garrigus smiles and chuckles at you, Shreshka, and she says, I would hope so, considering this thing I'd be asking you to do would stop the entire world from being asleep. Nessarian is normally a very docile god. Why they have decided to do this and force this over the waking realm, I do not know. None of the sleepers seem to know, at least the ones that we've communicated with. So, we need your help, particularly with something that we've seen recently. And I only ask for your help because for some reason you're awake, but you're not a sleeper. You're not sleepers. I would be able to feel it if you were sleepers. So there's a reason you're awake. There's a reason you have the ability to stand here before me now without being forced into astral form or without being lumps of sleepy things in your beds nice and cozy in the night. So I urge you to help us and the Waking Realm to find out what's going on with Nessarian. Why they have decided to throw this tantrum and put everybody to sleep. Because it may seem like Starshore is bustling, but without other villages being awake, we have nowhere for our fish to go. So it's gonna pile up and it's gonna start to smell real bad.
That's not a good idea.
Yeah, let's not have that.
So you'll help then. You'll help find out why Nessarian is apparently deciding to do all of this to us.
We'll get right on it.
On
What do y'all say?
Can you Can you tell us what Nessarian was like before this?
Nessarian, as far as the sleepers know, have always been a docile god. They've always taken kindly to the job that they have in keeping the sleep realm alive and thriving, and they've always given dreams and given nightmares in the exact way that they need to. They've never forced anything like this upon the waking realm. This is very strange. And as she says this, the raccoon the raccoon, sorry, I just read the stream chat. The raccoon Abe pulls his pipe from his mouth, looks over at all of you, doesn't say anything, closes his book, and storms out of the room. Garrigus once again sighs, seeing another one of her compatriots very angrily storm away. And sorry, I'm dying for a second.
Whatever issue your compatriots have, it's on them. But we're here to help you. And I don't see anybody backing down. I don't think we have a choice either in the matter.
Not entirely, no, we don't.
Garrigus chuckles at that and says, "No, I mean, with the majority of the world asleep, it's not really going to go anywhere. So this one would very much appreciate your help, because you're awake for a reason, and I at least believe this may be the reason."
Can I ask about the gems we have?
Garrigus shrugs, and she says, "You know, I don't know." And it was only then, it seemed, that she looked at the gems and looked at each of your eyes, or looked at the gems on, because Rembrandt showed his box, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, she looks at Rembrandt's box and the gem inlaid, and notices only then that the color of the gems match Rembrandt's eyes perfectly.
My special eyes.
Our gem must look awful.
Yeah. Well, the gems on everybody's boxes perfectly match your eye color.
I'm gonna have like a half and half pock.
Yeah, Shreshka, you actually have a really cool swirly color gem because of your
Awesome.
different color eyes.
Fancy.
Yep. But at this realization, Shreshka's shrug, she just shrugs even harder. Her shrug, her shoulders like reach up to the top of her head. She shrugs so hard.
What are you doing?
Who else tried to shrug that hard?
I mean, I did as I was saying it because I tend to do actions and facial expressions. I'm actually still shrugging. And I don't know why.
As her shoulders just come up, they almost dislocate from her sockets. As
Who
her
is it?
shrug
Oh, no.
is just so so massive.
She's got those Larry King shoulders right now. Is that a reference that anybody else gets?
I think not.
Nope.
Oh dear. Okay, cool. Moving on. So she says, I have no idea what those boxes are about. But it's very strange that the gems inlaid within seem to match your exact eye color.
How big is this box?
What was that?
Is this box edible?
It is not.
What?
Oh, we might get hungry someday.
I mean, you could try and eat very, very nice purple heart wood if you want.
I wonder, what does it taste like then?
The color
Wood.
purple.
Okay.
The color. roll.
Oh, it's true what they say.
It's those Gatorade flavors.
Oh,
If the gem is bigger than your eye, then you have cackle fever.
Oh my
Ooh. All right. So we're actually just about to get into a big chunk of some roleplay stuff, and this was going to be a shorter session tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and call intermission real quick. Zim, if you could. Yeah, I knew you were going to sigh.
Farewell.
Was it the cackle fever?
I'm just going to call like a 10 to 15 minute intermission.
Long one.
Fine, 10 minute.
2 minute.
No,
5
I can't
to
smoke
10.
a cigarette that fast.
3. Take it or leave.
All right, fine, 5 to 10. I can
The
smoke a
amount of
cigarette that
the
fast.
amount of classes Rembrandt has.
All right, guys. Thank you all so much for joining us so far this evening. We are going on intermission. We'll be back here soon. Thank you so much for around, and we'll see you when we're back. Hey, in the meantime, you can go check out our website, gaming.com. We've got lots of merch available.
がうなる俺は機械だ鉄人だ今解き放てよ鋼の魂行くぜブレイクダウン悪い奴らをぶち壊せ必殺限界パワーだ百列パンチ俺はゴージャスハイパクトララタ青い海原駆け抜けて走れ全開巨体が叫ぶ俺のハートはダイナモだ今輝かせろクールな瞳行くぜブレイクアップ群がる敵を打ち砕け必殺最強パワーだほよよんキック俺はシャーニーハイパクト
And poke at after the stream.
All right, thank you. Hello,
Yeah,
everybody.
it's actually-
We are back. But what I was saying there is, when you've got all that debt that hits, it ruins your credit. And when you go to the hospital and stuff, you get a bill from the hospital. Oftentimes, you'll also get a bill from the doctor and from whatever lab you use, and another bill for this and another bill for that, and they're all different companies. It's very easy for them to fall through the cracks. I had one friend whose credit got destroyed because of a $25 bill that he didn't realize even existed.
We have free health care here.
I wish we did.
It would make things so much easier.
It's a basic... It's a basic necessity. You should not be able to profit off of somebody's health care.
True.
But unfortunately, that's the country we live in. And yeah, I've got all that, and over time of not being able to pay, because of course they all have their minimum amounts, and you have to pay something to them. And when you're paying $5 to each, and you've got 50 different places to pay to, that adds up. And that's why my credit is absolutely destroyed. But anyways,
I'm sure you'll be able to open a bank account.
no.
Yeah, the bank website that I shot him a message about is it helped me out a lot. Like I was not in a good place until my buddy Kel told me about Simple, and I'm in a much better place now because I have a real. Yeah, well, I know I sound like a commercial, but I have an actual.
I was
checking
gonna say that.
account now, and it's great.
Actually, I think Simple is one that I applied to that they say that there's no base. Like, their website says it doesn't matter what your... Yeah, Simple is one that I tried to get in with. Their site
Really?
says your credit doesn't matter, and then they give me a message saying, sorry, but your credit doesn't meet our requirements. You cannot get an account.
That's really weird because they like. I have shit credit and they accepted. I didn't have to apply. I just made an account and got a checking account.
Like I said, my credit is just that bad. And there's literally nothing I could have done to avoid it. There was no way to avoid this getting to this point. Medical care is expensive as all hell. And it doesn't help when, you know, your dad decides to cancel your insurance without telling you, and then your mom's insurance is like, no, we won't pay until your dad's it pays, because we're the secondary, and yeah.
Yeah, I feel that. I ended up I got released from a job, and therefore the benefits I got from it just before my top surgery. So I actually am now in debt because of the top surgery. But you know what? It was a life-changing surgery. I wanted it, so I don't care about being in debt from it.
Top
But,
surgery?
Yeah.
My biggest problem
I don't know what that
was
is.
transgender
Gender-affirming
stuff.
surgery
Ah.
for trans guys.
Gotcha. Okay.
Unfortunately for me, it was a lot of tests. A test for this, a
Yeah.
test for that. I did probably about 30 different tests and had to redo several of them after one thing or another changed, and my particular it sucks when you... Honestly, my condition would be one that would probably show up on House.
I loved House. It was a
That's
great.
saying a lot too.
House is a fantastic show, but mine, it's a very
Was a
rare
fantastic
thing.
Show.
Yeah, it was a great show. I wish it was still
Hugh
going.
Laurie is the bomb. Have
He
you heard?
is.
I honestly, I don't think so. I think they ended
Have-
it like perfectly,
Oh,
like
they
where
did
it
it.
was.
Oh yeah. Did you see?
And I'm not talking about
special?
like just the ending was great. I mean like the series was like perfect in length. I would be so afraid to go even farther than that.
Yeah, there is that.
Okay,
It's
wait,
also
but
scary
y'all
to
are fans of
think.
House.
So
Y'all are
scary-
fans of House, but have you heard Hugh Laurie's jazz album?
He has one?
No. I
Have you
didn't
heard
know.
Oh,
Hugh
yeah, Hugh
Laurie's
Laurie
farting
does.
ghost skit?
He's a pianist and he plays piano on this jazz album and it's
He's a-
absolutely
I
fantastic.
mean, I know he's a dick, but what?
Oh, no. Get the...
So my friend who I'm sitting next to is also a pianist and she very much enjoyed that joke.
Um, the funny thing is that Hugh Laurie, you gotta just remember, he was the dad in Stuart Little.
Yes, he was. Thank you for being somebody who recognized that.
I'm actually very jealous of pianists.
Oh, they're amazing.
I used to
I swear to God,
play
every time I
piano
watch,
when I was younger, but carpal tunnel in both my hands has seen the end of
yeah.
My
Yeah, like-
stepdad can play the piano, the upright bass, guitar. He's basically a one-man band, and he could literally hear a song and just start playing along with it.
That's pretty good.
That's awesome.
Too bad he's a dick, but
He-
that's beside
He's
the point.
he's very good at improv. That's not easy to do in music.
No, it isn't.
What's weird is when you listen to House during the entire thing, or Hugh Laurie during the entire thing is House, and then hear his actual accent, you're like, wait, what?
Yeah, he's English.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just a phenomenal. Okay.
All right. Weasels.
All right, so where we left off, Garrigus, Ibram had just been taken out of the room by Darcy. Rembrandt was showing Garrigus the box and such, and Garrigus was asking you all for help to try and figure out what in the hell Nessarian's trying to do by forcing the entire waking realm to fall asleep, basically. So, with as you all are still standing there, and she finally closes this notebook. She puts it to the side and she looks at you all and she says, I ask a lot of you. We sleepers would do this ourselves, but we do not fight. As sleepers, we have all sworn to just practice our dream magic and keep to ourselves. But you all can do something about this. And this one believes that she has a way to help you. Okay, so one second. Rembrandt, in your recounting what had happened, did you also mention the fact that everybody had nightmares about their greatest fear? The very first?
Yes.
Okay. And she says, your fears. Fear plays a big role in Nessarian's realm. We, the sleepers, can help you learn how to use this fear. We can train you to bring your fear to your hands as a tangible weapon. Would you be willing to do this in order to help find out what Nessarian is doing?
Rembrandt is quiet and looking to the others. As there's mentioned that you need to use your fear for it.
This one agrees. This one volunteers.
All right.
Am I gonna get some booze soon?
Garrigus chuckles and says, Kalani, if you do this, if you go through this training, then yes, I will supply you with, as you say, booze. And she does air quotes when she says booze.
He's gonna lean in a bit and stroke his chin. How much are we talking?
Agree to this training, and it will be enough. Trust me.
Agreed. I hope you know what you've gotten yourself into.
Perfect. She ignores that rather suspicious statement, stands, claps her hands together, and says, Right, follow me. And she leads all of you out of the room into the hallway mansion, or one of the mansion hallways, rather.
Very big mansion.
Yeah, it's big. It's a pretty big mansion.
Azurite is hesitant, but follows with.
So it takes a couple of minutes walking through the hallways, and as you pass, you see various rooms. Some are open, some are closed, and the ones that are open, you see that very much like the room that you were previously in, all of the rooms that are open are also covered in tapestries and have cushions and pillows and small tables and books and bookshelves scattered about within. This mansion is very clearly made for comfort. And in those couple of minutes, after those couple of minutes, you come to a door, and Garrigus smiles as she stops at the front and says, she claps her hands together and says, You all are in for a real treat. This magic is
Hugs?
normally, huh?
Hugs?
Hug
Are-
magic.
Not hug magic, unfortunately.
You go
But-
up and hug somebody and they just die.
Dear.
Yes, what can I do for you?
So, yeah, Garrigus claps her hands together and says, This magic is... It will be tough, but you will definitely get something out of this training, should you surpass its difficulties. And she opens the door and gestures you all to enter. And when you do, you see the raccoon, Abe, standing there in the middle of the room with his pipe hanging from his lips, a very disgruntled look on his face. And he doesn't do anything other than just look at all of you and nod as you come in to the room.
This one says hello.
Yeah. Hi. Abe
Hi.
says as he takes a pull from his pipe, pulls it from his lips, and looks around at the lot of you. He says, So, you apparently need to learn this magic. Hopefully, you'll get through it. You need to, this magic, you need to accept your fear. Don't conquer it. You don't need to conquer your fear. You need to use it. You need to feel it.
You can't just give it to me. I don't have any fears.
Who was that? Was that Cleek?
Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have any fears.
Abe chuckles as he looks at Cleek and says, We'll find out then. And he points at you, Cleek. And he says,
How about you go first?
I mean that's not fair. I don't have any fears. That's just wasting time. Anyone else can go, right?
This one
Right,
pushes
guys?
Cleek forward.
No. You're gonna go first. And Abe steps forward and says, "You'll be fine. It will be scary, but you will be fine." And he reaches
I know
out.
that. You don't have to tell me twice. I don't know.
And he reaches out, and when he jeez, sorry. And when he reaches out, he touches the two forefingers of his left hand to your forehead. And as he does so, Cleek, your vision goes black.
I'm blind. I'm
As-
blind.
As you start freaking out, you hear Abe's voice. It's slightly distorted, but you're able to pick it up. And it says, "Calm yourself, idiot. You're not blind. I've forced you into a waking nightmare.
Oh, how do I get out?
You use your fear, is how." And as Abe speaks, his voice trails off a bit. And the darkness that surrounds you, you feel it undulate. You can feel the waves of the darkness begin to move around you. And it's almost as if it's touching you.
No.
And for those of you...
No.
For the rest of you in the room... For the rest of you in the room, what you're currently witnessing is Cleek standing in the middle of the room where Abe touched him. And Cleek is quite literally just standing there. His eyes are wide. It seems as though he's in a trance, but as he speaks, his mouth does move. His normal inflection comes out, but his physical body is still perfectly still. And Cleek, yeah, that darkness is continuing to seemingly reach out to you.
No, I'm gonna run. I'm gonna run to the darkness. Run further away from the darkness into the darkness.
As Cleek starts running, those of you around Cleek can hear you can hear the effects of him running. You can hear his voice pant. You can tell that his muscles are contracting and releasing and twitching as if he were actually running, but still his body is static in the middle of the room. And Cleek, as you run, it's continuous darkness until you start to hear a gurgling noise. And this gurgling is slowly followed by a snarl. Many snarls, as if it's coming from multiple mouths. Perfect.
That was perfect timing.
And as you keep running into the darkness in front of you, you suddenly see the cute chocobo noise helped a little bit, but so as you continue running into the darkness, just in front of you, you see an eye open, and it's glowing a little bit. That's how you can see it. You notice this single eye in the darkness as you're running towards it, but even as you're running, it doesn't seem to get any closer. And then another eye opens, and another, and another, and every moment that passes, another eye opens in the darkness, and they're all gathered around each other. They're all rather close to each other, clumping together. And then the snarling gets louder, as does the gurgling. And as you run closer...
Okay, I've conquered my fear. You can let me out now.
You hear Abe's voice.
Please.
break through the darkness for a moment, again distorted, and he says, "You haven't conquered shit. I don't want you to conquer anything. I want you to use it."
Look, man, you don't know what you're doing here.
I know exactly what I'm doing here. Abe's voice once again resonates within your mind. And he says, "I have no idea what you're seeing, but use it. Use this fear. Don't conquer it. Don't push it aside. This what you're feeling, it gives you strength. Your fear is what tells you what you can't defeat. Your fear is what gives you your limits. If you are limitless, then
I have
there's
limits. I have limits. I have limits. I have limits. I'm running.
Okay, good. You hear Abe's voice say. And as you continue running, Cleek,
Oh, no.
more eyes just pop open in front of you. And eventually the gurgling gets louder, the snarling gets louder, and finally it seems like this form comes to life before you, and it is the gibbering.
I hate life.
What?
I hate life.
It's the gibbering mouther, or the gibbering
Get it
mouther in
away.
this thing full of eyes, this blob of flesh and hair, and it sits before you. Its maws, multiple maws full of sharp rows of teeth, are wide open and drooling. Its eyes are all staring directly at you.
I grab my staff and my sling.
As you pull your staff and sling, they seem to dissipate in your hands. They
God damn it.
completely fall away.
Oh, fuck this. Throw a good berry at it.
Throw a what at it?
Throw a good berry.
No, the berry bounces off of the fleshy, mouth-filled, eye-covered beast before you. And it just snarls and begins to approach you.
No, I'm gonna run away from its approach. You can't make me.
As you turn to run away, another one appears before you. Multiple of these beasts now surround you.
I'm gonna kick it in where I assume its nuts are, and I'm
You said you're gonna kick it?
kick it. Get it away.
So, roll intimidation. Well, wait, before you roll intimidation, how do you kick it? What do you do when you go to
With
kick
my
this
foot.
thing? Well, okay, yeah, but like, are you just kicking out of fear? Like, get it away?
Basically. No,
Alright.
more like a soccer kick, football.
Like a punt?
Sure, whatever is harder.
You're gonna punt it?
I mean, roll me a strength.
On the outside, does it look like he's taking like this long?
Yeah, on the outside, as all of you are watching, you still see Cleek just, his body is still for the most part. His mouth is moving,
Oh, thank
and his
God.
facial
I
expressions
thought for a
are the
second
same.
my whole body was gonna turn around and randomly kick one of my allies in the nuts on X.
Well,
So, his body was still. And
his expressions were changing with the way that he was screaming as he runs away, but as soon as within this waking nightmare he turns to kick at this beast, his physical body turns and kicks outward. And I would like everybody but Cleek to roll a d6.
I rolled it on the number I had it set on in the little roast.
Oh dear. Alright. So as Cleek kicks outward, in the dream, he certainly makes contact with this beast, and it rears back for a moment and snarls and growls, but it very quickly gathers itself again and looms over Cleek. But Cleek's physical body, as he struck his foot out to kick at the beast, he in actuality and gave Azurite a swift kick to the gut. So,
Oof.
Azurite, take 2 damage. So, after this beast was kicked, it looms over you. It appears, Cleek, as if it's trying to engulf you. The other ones around it, there are multiple. It also they circle you. They're all looming over you, surrounding you, circling you in. And you hear Abe's voice come through again, once again, still distorted, and it says, Abe says, come on now, don't just kick at nothing. Use it. Use this fear. It is your power. You need to use it.
Hey, Daga.
What?
When you started DMing for us, Cleek had an injury on his arm.
That was long healed.
It was long healed, but would you say that there's still some remnants of that's still healing, or is it like completely fully healed?
Weasel,
Depends
you
on
want
what
me
the
to kick
injury was
again?
and how it was healed.
Over time, and Rembrandt was giving it medical attention, but this was something that needed to heal over time.
He's correct. It would have. I would say it would have healed by now, though.
Would you say fully healed, not even like a little bit sore, a little bit, or?
I mean, combined normal treatment combined with magical, I would say it's perfectly fine.
Then in that case, I think Rembrandt would probably like pinch Cleek on the shoulder and tell him to get a hold of himself. Hopefully see his words can reach him.
So Cleek, within this waking nightmare, you can't hear Rembrandt's voice, but you feel the pinch, and you can feel the energy of what Rembrandt is trying to tell you, but you can't hear his voice. So you can feel some sort of determination, I guess. So
I scream out of madness and start beating it all into the ground. Stomping on it like an angry child.
So, Cleek, you have these beasts, your worst nightmare, circling you, looming over you. Kicking them did nearly nothing. And yet you have this voice, the voice of Abe, the raccoon sleeper, coming in and saying you need to use your fear.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
The actual
I
out-of-character
really
player is having issues.
A little bit.
Your worst fear is surrounding you, Cleek, and you have this inner voice of Abe telling you that there's a way to get through this. You just need to use your fear rather than
Use
run from it, and
It's
rather than conquer
moldable
it.
flesh. What do you want me to do? Make some sort of flesh sword?
I don't know. Tell me what you do.
Hug it.
Yeah, screw
God
that.
damn
No.
it.
I'm gonna grab it and try and mold it into a staff. Stretch it like taffy and just make a fleshy staff thing. make a gibbering staff.
So do you actually do that?
I'm gonna do that.
All right, so
I
you
don't
reach
have
out
any
and
other
try
idea.
to grab it
Rip off a chunk of it.
with the intention of creating a staff.
Yeah.
All right. Give me 1 second to do a poke. Give me a nature check.
Oh boy.
The one thing I never succeed at.
So,
Cleek,
as
you
you
can do
go,
it. Do it.
as you go to grab this a clump of the flesh off of this gibbering mouther, one of the multiple that are currently surrounding you, it rears back for a moment, but still you're able to grab a chunk of this eye-filled, slightly hairy flesh.
Oh, it's squishy. It's squishy and weird.
It's all sticky.
It's all sticky.
So, give me a Constitution check.
Fuck your constitution. Save? What did you say?
Just basically just well, I don't know how to say it. Not a save. Just roll the d20 with the Constitution model.
I should be rolling a lot of 8s today.
Yeah, that is quite a lot of eights. So as you go to grab this chunk of flesh, you do feel a little bit. It's near impossible to describe the physical feeling. A, in character because it is. B, out of character because I have no
can.
idea how to describe it.
I describe it as
Yeah. So as you go to grab this, you feel this strange wave of energy pass through you, and for a moment you stagger. For a moment you pause, and it's as if your mind is suddenly caught by something, but then you're able to break through, and the grip that you have on this chunk of flesh from this gibbering mouther, it breaks apart. It breaks off of this beast before you. And now you're holding a chunk of eye-filled, slightly hairy flesh from one of the monsters in front of you.
you.
They begin to loom closer, but as they do so, once again, Abe's voice comes through. And he says, "Good. And he says this because outside of this waking nightmare, the rest of the group saw you reach out, grab something, and very visibly shudder at the disgustingness of it. And Abe's voice, he says, Good. Use that. Use it. You can get through this fear. Don't conquer it. You need this fear. This fear is your power. You can use it to your advantage.
This is totally safe for work, right?
Yes.
What the hell?
I don't know what I just grabbed.
What do you mean you don't know you grabbed? You picked it up.
I'm gonna try and I'm gonna try again to make it a staff and like push through these.
No balls.
You have
Okay,
balls.
so first, give me a will check.
So many checks.
There's a will check?
There's no will check. Try
I
again.
said will.
Yeah, there
Whoops.
is no will save.
Oh,
Wait, what?
Ha 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 ha! My bad. Ha 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 ha!
wrong game.
I was thinking of a different
Wrong
game
edition.
for some reason. A game I haven't played in fucking forever. Might
Language.
be. Yeah. That. Sorry. Make a wisdom check.
Oh.
Oh, poor Azurite. So, as you start trying to form this clump of eye-filled flesh into a staff, you do pause for a moment. As suddenly a mouth appears. A mouth that's filled with the same sharp row of teeth that the other monsters have multiple mouths full of. It forms and it nips down on your hand very quickly.
Oh God. I'm a bite it off my hand. It's gonna bite me. I'm gonna.
So you're biting the clump of flesh after it bites you.
I'm gonna rip it off with my mouth.
So Daga, it doesn't look too well on the outside.
So what it looks like right now is it looks like what Cleek is describing as far as his movements go, but his body is he hasn't been running. His arms and his legs are moving, but he hasn't moved anywhere. He's still just like staying in the same exact place. You don't see this darkness, you don't see these monsters that are surrounding him, but you do see his reactions to them other than the running and moving paces physically. But
Rembrandt's gonna like start getting worried about Clake and watching his reactions then, and wanting to try anything at this point. He'll probably try to play his harp to try to calm him down and see if that'll help.
So, Cleek, as you bite into this mouth-filled, eye-filled clump of flesh that you somehow tore from the beast,
Grr.
you then hear the very distorted, very slight sound of a harp playing. And
That's not
Is
eerie
that
at all.
who I think it is?
And as you bite into this flesh, it no longer feels like flesh.
Hang on. That's him playing the harp out.
Yeah, you can very barely hear
Okay.
the sound
I
of him
pause.
playing
I
the
pause
harp.
my biting. I take out 2 little bits of the flesh and I put them into my ear holes, and say, "Ah, that's better." I'd
Do you actually-
rather listen to the gibbering than.
Everybody's a critic.
I mean, in truth, hearing a harp out of nowhere in dream state would be really disconcerting.
Yeah, fair.
I'd rather just listen to gibbering at this point.
It's soothing. Fuck you, man.
So you hear this harp, and then you stuff your ears full of the bits of flesh, and then
Does
you can-
Clake have ears?
I mean,
and
he's a
ear
bird, so
holes.
technically, but they're actually just holes in his head.
It's not. Now I got gibbering hole. That just sounded weird.
Gibbering holes. I'm
Shook.
starting a bar, and that's gonna be the name.
Look at me. I got voices in my head.
So wait, did Cleek actually do that?
I covered my ears.
Okay.
Stupid harp.
So as you continue biting into the flesh, you do hear the harp, but you quickly push it out of your mind, and the flesh that you're biting into suddenly doesn't feel like flesh. It feels like a little bit of nothing. And it tastes different too. It tastes kind of like wood,
Or
but
perhaps fox flesh.
Ah,
Yeah.
Well, I just get some dark holes.
so yeah, you're biting a bit of flesh that no longer feels like anything, but tastes a little bit like wood.
I look at the remaining flesh. What's it doing?
It has become a lump of sparkly astral goo. And as you continue looking at it, it seems to start to take shape and take form. But as it does so, the other monsters around you, the other gibbering mouthers, they start to close in and surround you.
I'm gonna like football tackle and just start eating. Very cannibalistic druid.
Apparently so. So are you dropping the original bit of flesh that is now all astrally that you have? As you go to tackle the other ones, as you said, do you drop the
Just
original bit that you So you're still chewing on it?
Yeah, I'm still chewing on it.
Alright, so as you're chewing on this bit of astral stuff and you go to tackle the other beasts, the blobless, the blobby astral junk that you're chewing on starts to take shape. It does in fact turn into a staff. And at the end of that staff, and at the end of that staff is a very shiny black metal point. And you now hold in your hands a very pointy astral staff.
I nibble on it just to make sure it's not alive.
It is not alive.
Okay.
Oh.
What was that? What was the O?
What?
Oh, someone just went up. Wait, not gonna fess up? Alright, fine. Alright, so spooky astral staff thing, not alive, spooky staff, sparkly.
Yeah, so you now have this thing in your hand, and it's not a pole arm. It's definitely a staff, but it has a pointy end. It has a pointy bit on the end of it.
so like a spear.
Pointy
No,
end
like
goes
a staff
into
with
other
a
men.
pointy end.
A staff with the pointy ends.
I mean, D&D does have those. They're called staff spears.
Cool, it's that then.
The DM was not prepared.
I was. It's just these. Okay, I did have a lot of ad-libbing planned tonight, and this is part of it, and I'm sorry. I know. Okay, I know that the words ad-libbing and planned in the same sentence really contradicts each other, but I wanted to see if I could come up with something on the fly, depending on what y'all did during your interaction. So there you have it, a pointy staff. So yeah, Kalik is standing there with a pointy staff in his hands. It's not wood. It tastes like wood, considering he was just chewing on the before it formed version of it. But it is very much the sparkly form that you've seen other astral beings in. And these gibbering mouthers are still
Astral
looming over
beans?
you. Beings.
Yeah, beans.
I like beans.
Are they refried? Black beans, pinto beans, what?
Magic?
Black beings.
Oh, the worst kind.
Astral black beans.
Oh God! God, no! That is not why I'm named Sparkle Daddy.
I'm gonna wave this staff and smack the blobs.
All right. Describe
very
more of
effective.
how you smack the blobs.
I take one end of the staff and move it with great momentum into other. Does that make more sense?
I mean, it made sense in the first place. I just wanted a little bit of embellishment.
I don't know how to hit something with more embellishment.
Okay, fair.
How do you hit something better? I mean, I guess you could.
It's not hitting something better. It's telling me how you hit it with more detail. But I'll take what you've given me. What is my dog doing? Sorry, dog was being weird. So as you go to swing this this pointy staff at these creatures, go ahead and roll me a you know what? We're gonna go ahead and make it a nature check.
Get ready, everyone. The first crit fail of the day.
No, you're missing 8 points of that.
So as you go to swing at it, hits one of them, and as it does so, it bursts. It just straight up bursts into. I wanted to say sparklies, but I know you all would make fun of me if I said that.
Very much so.
Except you just
Not like
said
we
it,
haven't,
so...
man.
Hi, Sparkle Daddy.
Oh my god. So as Cleek strikes one of these beasts with his pointy staff of astraliness, it bursts into a bunch of goop and falls all over Cleek. And those of you watching Cleek in this waking nightmare just kind of see him swing his arms. There's nothing in his hands. You don't see anything in his hands.
I can swing my arms on my diamond arms.
And even after just that, one beast falls into nothingness from the strike of the pointy staff. Suddenly, all of the beasts disappear. And Cleek is left standing there with this staff in hand. And after a few moments, the darkness that was enveloping him dissipates, as does the spear. And Cleek, you can now see the rest of the room and those in it around you.
I'm out.
You are out.
I'm out. Can someone point me to the nearest body of water, please?
This one hugs Cleek.
I hug back. I pat him on the back, and I walk outside to the nearest body of. Dag, I sent you something.
1 second, I'm watching it.
2 minute at 2:43. Yeah, that's about my reaction.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So yeah, you're standing there. And you can now see everyone else around you.
Okay. I'm gonna go curl in a corner.
Abe, the raccoon, watches this, chuckles, and says, "Alright. I guess you did it somehow."
I hold up my middle finger and I just go back to my fetal position.
He's giving the bird.
The bird is giving the bird.
The bird has given bird.
Really?
Well, now
No one?
I have to use this one.
I was trying to.
Oh my god. Alright. So, Abe, after watching Cleek curl into a corner and flip him off, simply chuckles and turns to the rest of you and says, "Alright, who's next?"
Kalani will stand up. You wanted me to go in here sober, so let's get this over with.
Give me just a second, I'm sorry.
By the way, who was playing that harp?
Rembrandt.
Come
He's the
on!
only bard in the party.
No, I'm asking in character. Like, who was playing that harp? By the way, Rembrandt.
Well, like I told you, you can recognize it. as
May,
Rembrandt.
may I please see it?
No.
Okay.
Kalani, your character sheet in Fantasy Grounds, where are your proficiencies?
With
Supposed to be under the Abilities tab, correct?
proficiencies like weapons and such.
Oh, wait. Got it.
Yeah, you look at their skills to know what skills they're proficient.
Well, no, I'm not looking at skills. I'm trying to find actual proficiencies. But no, I found them.
Oh, like what character's starting proficient?
Alright, let me add another one there for you. There
Drinking
you
a
go.
lot of booze.
D&D. Kalani
You
Daryl
typed-
on's D&D 5 EP.
Oh,
What did you do to
What?
my character sheet?
Oh, sorry. My keyboard lagged out.
that was an interesting hiccup.
Yeah, my keyboard lagged out as I was trying to type something into Google, and yeah, so that happened.
Well, if you've
All right,
got a
so-
question, I can probably answer it.
No, I'm good. I'm also capable of Googling things, because I'm an
Okay.
adult.
I did add a new proficiency for you.
Is it drinking a lot of booze?
It looks like you added alcohol.
Yeah.
Okay.
Drinking a lot of booze.
All right, so Kalani, as you step forward and very reluctantly agree to be the next person to do this, Abe smiles and he says, "Okay," and he walks up to you and touches you with his two left forefingers as he did with Cleek, and as soon as he does so, darkness surrounds you. And again, everybody else in the room can just see Kalani standing very still.
Kalani does not really respond to this. He's just kind of looking around him. Erebus, thank you for the follow, by the way.
So Kalani doesn't really respond?
I said he's just looking around.
All right. Yeah, sorry, my something cut out there for a second. So, as the darkness continues to surround Kalani, just as Cleek did, you also feel this darkness start to undulate. You can feel the waves of its energy pass over you. And within a couple of moments, you start to hear a very slight skittering sound.
Kalani will attempt to keep himself calm, breathing deep, and, just trying to relax.
The skittering gets closer, and very soon...
He's going to try and call his weapon to him.
It doesn't come.
What about a mana shield?
Nope.
Okay, he's more nervous.
Yeah, the skittering gets closer, and after a few moments, about maybe 3 yards, so 10 feet in front of you or so, you see...
Before you continue,
some red
do I need to remind you that I'm your boss?
No, you don't need to remind me of that.
Oof.
You see some eyes open. And they're reddish. And there's 8 of them. The skittering gets louder.
Baby, it's only 8 of them.
There's only 8 of them.
Planning about only 8 eyes.
I like eyes.
Yeah, the skittering gets louder. Definitely getting closer to you, and you see the eyes approaching you closer and closer as well.
That's basically what's going on in his head. Red alert, all hands to battle stations. We threw out the name!
So, after a couple seconds or so of just the eyes being visible to you, the rest of the giant spider comes into view. And it is now a couple feet in front of you, looming over you, just as the gibbering mouthers did to Cleek.
Okay.
What was that save for?
That was me deciding how he would react.
Okay, cool. I like that. Nice.
Kalani is going to look up at this thing. His knees are trembling a bit, but he's going to breathe in deeply and just say, I've not had my booze yet. And I don't have time for your shit. Let's dance.
Okay. Roll me intimidation, please.
Boom!
All right. So, as as soon as those words leave your mouth, you feel an energy start to form around your feet. And from this energy, if you were to look down, you would see the slow formation of a pair of astral boots appear on your feet.
Okay. Are you saying that I'm nude?
No, you're not nude. That is not at all what I said.
Well, yeah, obviously, except for the boots.
I mean, you're wearing whatever the hell you were wearing, plus these new astral boots.
Okay, that's what I was getting at. Okay.
Okay, yeah. So these astral boots form onto your feet as soon as those words leave your mouth. And the spider, the rather large, I'll say giant, spider in front of you, kind of takes a little bit of a step back, but not too much, because its eyes are still locked on you, and it's still very much looking at you as if it thought you were a meal.
Kalani will take a ready stance. He may prefer his weapons, but that doesn't mean he doesn't. He would have, you know, actual combat training, like hand to hand.
I'm sorry, you're gonna have to repeat that. My dog is going nuts right now.
Well, then eat the dog.
No, she's just
Whoa.
having zoomies. So what did you say, Zim? I'm sorry.
Kalani is taking a ready stance. While he prefers his weapons, he does have, you know, he would have hand-to-hand training. And basically he's just getting ready to grapple if it moves towards him.
Okay, so as you take this readying...
Now you're gonna have to
One
repeat
second.
what you said, because...
Yeah, I know it cut off because my dog is being loud. Alright. Finally, sorry about that. So, as Kalani... You know what?
Yes, I know. I'm going to hell for this. And getting probably a whole bunch of shit.
I know. So as soon as Kalani takes that readying stance, you feel a wave of power come through these astral boots that you are wearing.
and it's as if they're urging you to do something. And the spider before you, the giant spider, takes another step forward, looming ever closer. Now only about a foot from your person.
You know, I don't think we went over this, but did you actually read Kalani's full backstory?
I skimmed it.
Why? Was it too long?
I mean, he did have to read a lot of people's in a short amount of time.
Yeah, I had to read a lot of shit.
Well, he's got Dragoon training. He originally started trading with a retired Dragoon before going into the Spellblade instead. Which means he could
I'll
jump
tell you a
very
secret.
well.
Wait. I'll tell you a secret. The only thing I associate with the word Dragoon is Phantasy Star Online on the Dreamcast.
I think of a Dragoon from H.P. Lovecraft.
And that's about 20 years old. So
I'm more referring to Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have no clue.
Their whole thing is jumping really high to land a massive hit. And you
All
know,
right,
well,
he's
you know
got...
And in D&D lore, they were known for dragon slayers.
Yeah.
Alright, well,
He's gonna jump.
fucking go for it.
He's gonna go, he's gonna just jump straight up and aim those astral boots right on top of this thing's head.
As
Squeak.
soon as you come down on top of the spider, it squishes very horrendously into the ground, and when your boots make contact with the ground, a huge shockwave comes out from it. And you yourself can feel the wave of energy coming from these boots as they strike the ground. And as soon as that happens, they dissipate, as does the blackness, and you are freed from the waking nightmare.
Kalani's gonna slump into the nearest chair, feeling rather exhausted from that. But satisfied. He's gonna take a moment to breathe and then turn to what's-her-face. I'll be taking that booze now.
Oh, Garrigus isn't in the room with you.
God damn it, where's the booze?
Abe chuckles and nods, and he looks to you, and he looks to you, Kalani, and to Cleek, and he says,
Why is the rum gone?
"You two did well. I'm proud of you, but it seems you all may need some rest, and I do urge you to do so. And by rest, I of course mean take a sip of those potions you have." And
No.
he gestures to each of you, and he, for some reason, does know that you have these potions that Rafina taught some of you how to make.
No, I just need some alcohol.
Well, the alcohol will come in a moment.
My
If
blood
you
point,
would.
my blood percentage is like 0.1. I need to get it back up to the standard of 50.
So, at this, Abe just sighs, shakes his head, and points his hand towards the door and says, "Out the door, down the hall, third right, it's the kitchen, liquor cabinet is next to the fridge."
He's gonna go right there.
All right. So as Kalani leaves, Abe looks to the rest of you and says, "There's more of this to go through, and I don't know how the rest of you will take it, but you've been through a lot today. You all need to take a chill pill. There's a comfort room down the hall, your first left. Go there, take a rest. We'll continue this in a few hours."
How much booze is in the cabinet?
There's not gonna be any left.
No, there's actually quite a bit.
This is Kalani you're talking to. There's not gonna be any left.
Kalani's been drinking alcohol like it's water forever.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of liquor in that cabinet.
It's not really so much an alcoholic thing, just... I think of it more of a monk, a drunken master monk kind of idea.
Fair.
It verges on alcoholism.
Very closely.
Another loyal devotee.
Oh, nice.
Devotee.
That is the absolute worst thing to have ever come on this stream. But thank you for the follow. And welcome to the tribe.
So, yeah. Actually gonna call it there. Because a couple of you got your super nifty astral weapons. There's a lot more to do. But it's also just about 12:30 in the morning where I am, so I need to sleep. The Sparkle Daddy needs his sleep.
Alrighty.
Are your sparkles diminishing?
Yes, my sparkles are diminishing. I am less lustrous, as my friend would say.
All right, well, that was an interesting session.
Next one is going to be just as interesting.
Everyone, thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you to the new followers on the channel here. I will be back tomorrow with Echoes of Eberron Dungeons and Dragons. Iron Fang will be back next week. Do make sure you come check us out. Iron Fang is at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. That is 9 p.m. Eastern. The Echoes of Eberron, 5 p.m. Mountain Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. Do hope to see you all here in the future. Thank you all so much for coming. Thank you to my patrons, donators, and subscribers. I really could not do this without you guys. I hope to see you all again. Lots more. And I bid you all a very fond adieu.
Bye,
everyone. Good night, everyone. Sparkle Daddy.
Absolute
Hopes
worst.
you have sweet dreams.
We are using Fantasy Grounds. But come on by tomorrow if you've got more questions. I can answer them then. For now, we are out for this evening.
Why won't you die?
Bye, everyone.
Oh.